Your grandma had a wheel, she drove too. Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready and I'll get up and make an announcement.
I don't know what the problem is.
Okay. We'll give you time to figure it out. Well, that didn't look like
I hurt myself today.
Testing, testing. Good evening. Welcome to the Salute to Our Veterans, performed by Mary Ann Hatfield. We do this every November. It's a wonderful program. I'm so glad you're here. You won't be sorry. You will not be sorry. You will leave blessed. You will leave blessed. A little information. We've had some flooding problems with the bathroom to the left. So if you need to make that trip, you have to go up the hallway, and there are bathrooms up there. We don't want you to drown while you're watching this program. So, and it's with great pleasure and honor. I just love this lady. I introduce to you Mary Ann Hatfield.
Thank you for that nice introduction, Patty. And she's a big part of Sages and Saints. And it's a program here at the Methodist Church for senior citizens, 55 and over. And they were meeting once a month. Of course, that came to a halt until tonight. So here we are meeting, and I'm so glad you're here. So good evening and welcome again. And thank you for inviting me to present a program to honor our veterans and all who have served in our country. Let's begin the evening together by reciting the American's Creed at Senior Program together. Would you please stand? I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy in the republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrifice their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, support its Constitution, to obey its law, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies. And stay standing while we sing the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you. You may be seated. I would like to take a moment to dedicate this evening's concert to two very special friends who we lost this year, to Bruce Dobsloff, who devoted so many years to the music ministry of this church, and to Vicki Guzman, who helped create the Sages and Saints program here at our church. So let's be thinking of them in spirit tonight as we do this musical presentation. One of their favorite songs was Praise to the Lord. Praise to the Lord the Almighty is a hymn based on a 17th century, maybe a folk song called Lobe den Herren, composed by Joachim Leander in Düsseldorf, Germany in the year 1680. The melody exists in many different versions and is thought to be based on an old folk tune. Johann Sebastian Bach even used this chorale in one of his cantatas in 1725. And this hymn also became a personal favorite of King Frederick William III of Prussia, and he first heard it in 1800. This arrangement for the piano by Joel Rainey is an upbeat, syncopated, and joyful rendition that reminds us to always praise God in glad adoration. Thank you so much. While this next songwriter doesn't consider herself as such, it was a song that she wrote in 1995 that made Marie Barnett a household name in the worship community. The wife of well-known worship leader and songwriter John Barnett, Marie was worshiping in her local church and listening to her husband sing when she realized that she could never live or even take a breath if she didn't talk with her Lord and Savior Jesus Christ every day. She heard in her mind these words, "This is the air I breathe. This is my daily bread." And she started singing them in her head. Breathe would go on to become one of the most played worship songs in churches around the world and would be recorded by numerous artists, including Michael W. Smith and Rebecca St. James. In fact, in 2002, it was named the most recorded song of the year by the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. This is a beautiful Mark Hayes piano arrangement of the worship song, Breathe. of veterans out here in our audience. So if you have ever served in our military, will you please stand so we can recognize you? And everybody get their flags out. And let's start over here on the left and just holler out your name and which branch of the military you served in.
Army. Neil Asfield, full career in the United States Air Force.
Okay, this side.
Air Army. Weldon Koenig, Navy. James Bradley, United States Navy. Stephen Thomas, Army. Carl Neal, Army. Kirby Klein, U.S. Air Force. Hoorah!
And let's stand and salute all of these guys with our flags. Thank you all so much for your service and for being here today. We appreciate everything you've done for us and for our country. Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry, we missed him up there. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Parker, Navy.
Navy, okay, yeah, Jeff. Navy and the sound man, we appreciate that for sure. Well, thank you guys. Oh, one more?
I would like to salute Jerry Duffy. He did not later tonight, but he said he is here in spirit.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Patsy, for that. We appreciate it. Thank you all. Well, just in honor of all you guys, the next selection is America the Beautiful. Most of us know that it was written by Catherine Lee Bates as a poem back in 1893. And it was first published in the 4th of July edition of her church's periodical in 1895, a couple years later. And then the music was composed and added to it in 1910 by her church organist, Samuel A. Ward. Miss Bates wrote this poem after a journey to the top of Pikes Peak in Colorado, saying that the beautiful views there inspired her. This song was actually a contender for the U.S. national anthem, along with My Country 'Tis of Thee and the Star-Spangled Banner. But it was in 1931 that President Herbert Hoover signed a law that made the Star-Spangled Banner our national anthem. At that time, this upset many Americans who favored this piece, America the Beautiful. But nevertheless, this hymn has withstood the test of time and remains one of the most popular patriotic songs 125 years later. This arrangement reminds me of the wonderful diversity of the people of our country, as you will hear the melody played in a hymn style, a gospel style, a beautiful lyrical style, and a blues style, America the Beautiful. art is imperishable. That's what Ludwig van Beethoven said. He was a humanist, a maverick, a musical visionary, and is still today one of the most performed composers in the world. Even his deafness, which began when he was in his 20s, failed to stop Beethoven from composing and writing music. He wrote some of his most famous works when he was almost totally deaf. These works include the Ninth Symphony, which was completed in 1824. And from that symphony comes this theme, which most of us recognize as Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. This year, we celebrated the 250th birthday of Beethoven, with concerts and exhibits and special programs being held throughout the United States and Germany and other countries. I hope you enjoy this riveting arrangement of Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. Our next piece is Eyes on the Sparrow. Sibylla Durfee Martin was a Canadian by birth. She was born on August 21st, 1869 in Nova Scotia. She became a school teacher and a music teacher, but then she married Dr. Walter Martin, an evangelist, and she gave up her teaching to travel with him and assist in his meetings. In her own words, in her diary, this is her account of the writing of this song. Early in the spring of 1905, my husband and I were sojourning in Elmira, New York. We contracted a deep friendship for a couple by the name of Mr. and Mrs. Doolittle, true saints of God. Mrs. Doolittle had been bedridden for nigh 20 years, and her husband was an incurable cripple who had to propel himself to and from his business in a wheelchair. Despite their afflictions, though, they lived happy Christian lives, bringing inspiration and comfort to all who knew them. One day, while we were visiting with the Doolittles, my husband commented on their bright hopefulness and asked them for the secret of it. Mrs. Doolittle's reply was simple. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. The beauty of this simple expression of boundless faith gripped the hearts and fired the imaginations of Dr. Martin and me. So this hymn, His Eyes on the Sparrow, was the outcome of that experience. This organ arrangement is by Robert Thigerson, and following this one, I'll play the Battle Hymn of the Republic on the organ. We gotta slow down on it, buddy. There's a long and a rich history of African American spirituals in our country. Those soulful plantation songs that were born of slavery and full of yearning for freedom and liberation. Many of those songs were never notated or written down, but just passed down by singing generation after generation. This is a medley of three favorites. Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, Go Down Moses, and Wade in the Water, the earliest of which was first published in 1867. While the spirituals' histories remain largely unknown, they draw from Old Testament stories of the Exodus and were a means of escape for the enslaved. Stripes Forever is a patriotic American march written and composed by John Philip Sousa. By a 1987 act of the United States Congress, it became the official national march of the United States of America. Sousa composed the march on Christmas Day, 1896, and explained to the press that the three themes of the final trio were intended to represent the three regions of the United States. The broad melody of the main theme portrays the North, and the South is represented by the famous piccolo obbligato, and the West by the bold counter melody of the trombones. The three come together at the end, representing the Union itself. Well, obviously, we won't hear piccolos or trombones tonight, but we will hear a four-hand piano arrangement. Thanks to my friend Don Kirby for playing the duet part with me. Thank you so much, Mr. Kirby. I appreciate it very much. And I also want to thank all of you watching, live streaming on Facebook. I hope you're enjoying it. We're having such a great time. Hate to be the last piece, but this is a fun one too. This is some of my favorites, the old gospel songs. Did any of you ever remember singing that song when you were a child called Down in My Heart, or I've got the joy, 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 joy? Yeah, some of you. I remember singing it countless times and teaching it to so many children. And I especially remember their smiles when we would sing that last verse about, if the devil doesn't like it, he can sit on an attack. That was always fun. So this is a joyful old song. It was written by a pastor, Pastor George Willis Cook, in the 1800s. And it's still widely sung today by kids and adults alike. And you know, sometimes in the hustle and the bustle of life, we lose sight of what brings us joy, or what should bring us joy. We worry about all that is going on around us, and we find ourselves overwhelmed, flustered, or just too busy to take some time to unwind, laugh, or find that little slice of joy. As we close this evening with this Marilyn Ham arrangement of Down in My Heart, I want to thank again all of our veterans for being here tonight and for their selfless service to our country. And to thank you all also for coming this evening and sharing this evening of music with me. Let's all try to find some joy in the remainder of 2020 and continue to always be thankful for all the blessings God has given us. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the evening. It was really fun for me, and I hope we get to do it again. Be safe going home and enjoy the rest of your week.
Oh, my goodness.
Very good.
Thank